Yo designers, let's start the second section. Over here, we're going to learn about pages and databases. So each section is just going to be a few minutes and we'll blast through this. Okay, after this, you'll be ready to use the intermediate tutorials, which are using the core databases of live game design: areas, projects, tasks, and notes. Even though we've kind of already had some experience with using that before. So level 1 and onwards will be in full width mode, and we're going to see that when we click this button. It's also a cheat code here if you're really lazy, but honestly, let's do this together. All right, click that, and now things have gone super wide. So this is the normal layout of pages in live game design. So we can click the toggles below to learn more about pages and databases and how awesome they are. All right, so what are pages? Over here, we have an example of each level of this tutorial being a page. So instead of folders, Notion uses pages that cascade. And you can go like full pageception and have a page within a subpage and a subpage and just make heaps of layers. But the thing with pages is that they have a limitation. So if we open this, we can learn that they can't have properties like database pages do. So pages can contain pages and databases, same with databases, but pages cannot have properties, whereas databases have properties. Okay, we're going to learn about properties soon, so keep that in the back of your head, but don't worry about it now. What are databases? Databases are like notebooks. Each database helps you easily organize multiple Notion pages in a single structure. So you can see here, this tutorial course is from a tutorials database that I created, and each level in this course is made using a page. So you've got the tutorial course at the top. Inside that is this module, the starting blocks. That's from the first section. And then you've got all the levels of that. Now we can see the power of databases with properties. So if we open this, and yeah, not that kind of property. We use database properties in the first tutorial, like I mentioned, when we made this thing to achieved. We set the status property of tasks from actioning to achieved. What does that actually mean? Over here, we can see an example of this, the tutorials database. This is the page over here. And on the right here are the properties, and this is the status property. Okay, so let's scroll down to understand that database properties are the variables that we can change. So some examples of variables that we can change are like the date and the status. So to the right here is our tasks database. I know it looks a bit different from what we saw before because this is a different view. We're going to learn about that soon. All right, so I'm going to open this toggle because we know in live game design that we always need to open toggles. And we just need to know that we're just looking for now. We're going to learn how to change properties in the next part. I just want you to get comfortable with looking at this first. So we've got our pages here. We've got a task date property and the status property over here. So let's scroll down into how to change database properties. Now we're ready for our first interaction, and it's literally just a point and click. All right, we are going to set the task date to today. It's super easy. All right, so if we come to this walkthrough here, I'm going to open this to learn how to do it, and it's giving me step-by-step instructions into how to select the task date. So it says, click the empty box below the task date over here. So I'm going to do that, click the empty box below task date, and now the window has popped up. So I'm going to click on today's date. It's already been highlighted for me. Today is the 22nd of July, and I click that, and now the date is set. So I'm just going to press escape or just click away anywhere out of it to escape this window. And that's it. That's all we needed to do. So I've got this picture example for you if you wanted to see how to do that, but easy as that. All right. So now we're going on to level 2. We're going to use this button. And one thing is that you don't need to be too scared about clicking on databases because it's pretty hard to make stuff like really go wrong. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. So let's continue with confidence. And this level over here will be short and compact, but like I said, not as edgy as Daxter. So we're going to learn about the 6 different database views, and you've already seen 2 of them. So let's open database views to learn more. And now we know that there are 6 ways that we can view databases that both have different functions and aesthetics. And we're going to go in order of complexity, but to keep it simple, I'm going to show you the exact same task database each time we do this. All right, so let's go into the list. So this is a list of our tasks. And over here, we notice that there are different symbols that I've added. So in most Notion templates, they won't give you a symbol system to learn how complex a certain tab is. And before I get ahead of myself, a tab is each one of these. This is a tab, this is a tab, and this is a tab of a database. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna open this and get more instructions, but all we're doing here is looking at this tasks list. So it tells me I need to close this up above. So I'm going to follow the instructions because if I didn't close it, it'd get very cluttered. Now we're going to learn about tables. Over here, I mentioned that properties marked with an eye icon like this have more information. So if I open this toggle, I can learn what to do. First, I need to hover my mouse over where it says octa-core and status. And now I get this pop-up window giving me more context on what this is. So if I'm ever lost on what something is, I can just do this in the table view. Okay, what I can do now is click on intelligence and hover over to the other octa-core attributes to learn more. So it's the same mechanic with this. I click on this and all I have to do is hover over them to get more insights into what these are. And it's the same for the status options here. So I can click away to cancel the menu, or I can click it and press escape on my keyboard to cancel that as well. So over here, it says that, press escape to exit the pop-up, and that's all we want to do for this. We're not doing anything crazy, we're just doing very progressively up the levels of interacting with these databases. Okay, gallery, so we can see a gallery of our tasks now. And now we're going to learn about cards, because you saw them before as these like lines over here, which are also pages. But now we're going to learn about how cards are presented. These pages are presented as what are called cards. And all of the rest of the views will be shown as cards. So there's this thing called grouping. If I open this, I'm going to learn about it. So if I click on this Notion tutorial task tab and I click on group gallery, now I can see that these cards are organized by status. So I can see this is achieved, these are the actioning tasks, and these are the awaiting tasks. And I can close these toggles to close them up like that and open them up again. This is really cool. So I'm going to close this like it says, and then I'm going to open the walkthrough. And now we're going to edit the page cards. So what we're going to do is add today's date. We already know how to add the date, but now we're going to add it to a page card. So what we want to do is go to the add date easy mode that I made for you. Then we want to hover over the card and you'll notice this pencil icon comes up and it says edit. So let's click the pencil icon and now the task date pops up. All we need to do, just like before, click on that, set the date. It's always going to be set to today's date. Or if it's not and you change between the months, you'll see that this blue highlight will be there and we just click that. And then the date is set. And that's all we do for this part of the tutorial. Now that we've set the date for this task that we did, we can move on. So in the board view over here, we learned that there is grouping here too, but it's in a horizontal layout instead of a vertical layout. So these are also grouped by property, and this is grouped by status. So if I look at task status over here, we can click on this status option in the card and be able to change it to different options. But in this tutorial, we're not going to change anything. We're just learning how to click on stuff without changing anything. Nothing scary. We're taking this really slowly, step by step. Okay, and what you can do is if it has a lot of status options, we can click and hold this gray bar to go across from side to side. There's also a faster way that we can do this by holding shift on your keyboard and scrolling up and down with your mouse wheel. So this is me scrolling down to go to the right and scrolling up to go to the left. All right, so all I need to do is close this because we're done with this section of the tutorial. Now I'm going to go into my calendar. So in my calendar, now I can see that the date has been set to this. So this calendar is showing me cards, basically. And you can actually drag and drop cards by clicking and holding it and putting it into another section. This is how you can really easily set the date of tasks. And it says at the bottom here that you can also hover over the left or right edge of these cards. You won't see it on my version, but your mouse icon will change. And once it changes, you can drag it to extend the date. But for tasks, you generally want to keep them on a single day basis. And this red icon is showing you the date that is currently today. But if you come to the calendar and you don't see anything, you need to come to here and click today to find this week. So I'm going to close the calendar. And finally, we're going to go into the timeline view. This is the last and most complex view that we can use, but it's still very simple. Okay, it's the same as the calendar, but now we've got this very long line and we can see this is June all the way into the 31st and it carries on to the next month. And we can do the same thing. We can slide this, drag and drop it to change the date. So I'm going to set it back, but we can also see that there are properties here as well. And we can do the same thing with sliding to extend the date for these, but we're just going to leave it. And that is pretty much it. And now we close the timeline. And now all we need to do is a terminology recap on things that we learned, because it kind of seems like this. We have no idea what we were kind of like saying about all of these different database views, pages, cards, blah, blah, blah. So let's review it together. Okay, properties are the variables of a database. The database views are the 6 different formats that we can view databases. We looked at them through list, table, gallery, board, calendar, and timeline. Okay, those are the database views. The tabs are used to access different views in a database. So if I go back up really quickly, we had different views in the gallery from tabs. So this is a tab, this is a tab, and this is a tab to access different ways to look at a single database. Okay, let's scroll back down. Grouping is used to group properties like status to categorize database pages. I'm going to go up again and show you the example. In the grouped gallery, this is grouped by status. You've got the awaiting tasks, actioning tasks, and achieved tasks. And I'm going to scroll down again. And the page cards are how the pages are presented in the gallery, board, calendar, and timeline. So one more time, this is a card, this is a page card, this is a page card. These are all page cards. All right, now we want to test our terminology. So if you click this, you see if you understand what I'm going to say. We've just covered a bunch of different views for our tasks database and learned how to change the properties of page cards in the board view. So if you kind of understand that, that's okay. It is still going to feel like kind of like blurry and weird, but the thing with your favorite games, even though they have complex systems, is that you learn from playing them. And we're going to do the same with Notion by learning and playing life game design. So let's keep playing. All right, let's push on to progress to level 3 by clicking this button. And since we're learning so much already, I made the last level as easy as possible for you. Even though you might feel a bit sus about me saying it's going to be easy, I promise it will be. Okay, this is how we make new pages within a database. And just like crafting in Skyrim, it's very simple. Point and click, but it's a lot more rewarding. Now that we're comfortable looking at the different views, let's add pages to the database. So we'll be adding tasks to our task database, and I'm going to guide you step by step. All right, let's open this toggle to learn how to do it. And we've got this walkthrough here that's guiding us. So in the achieved group, we're going to click where it says plus new, and this will automatically create a task template. Then we need to double click the text to highlight and delete it and type in added pages to database. I'm going to cheat and copy and paste this so I'm a bit more quicker. All right, so like it says, we're going to click plus new, and then we're going to highlight this text to delete it, press backspace to delete it, and then I'm going to paste in added pages to database. And that's it. I'm going to click away to exit the editing. And now I'm going to click this toggle. And to take this a step further, we're going to add the date. And I'm going to hover over this page card. And we actually know how to do this because we've done it before. We need to press this edit icon, and then we need to add the task date by clicking here. This pop-up window will prompt us to select today's date. Click that, and then we know that it's set. All right, now we know how to create a task and set its date. Really simple. Okay, let's go into navigating database pages. So let's navigate different page cards in this database view. So let's open this, And if you're not used to this new terminology, you might want to go back to level 2 and give that a replay just by yourself if you've only been watching the video. But we're just going to get used to opening and closing pages and seeing what's inside. I've hidden all the other tasks to make this easy. So let's open this toggle to learn more about how to do this. And we're going to click on a page card. We're going to close it using all of these 3 different options. Okay, the first is that we're going to click this and then click anywhere outside of these areas. So all these dark spaces here, we're just going to click that and it will exit it. I'm going to show you again. I'm going to open this, click that, and it's exited. Okay, the second method is to press escape. Now, depending on what you've selected in the page, you've got different levels of having to press escape. So if I press it once, that's pretty cool. But if I think I highlighted something like this, I press escape to exit the highlight, and then I have to press escape again to exit the page. So generally, if you press it 3 times, you'll always be safe. So escape, 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 that's it. And the last one is to press the back button on your browser. You can't see my browser. I'm just going to show you and tell you I'm pressing the back button on my browser and it will go back. I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to open this and press back on my browser, and it works for any browser or even if you're inside the Notion app itself. Okay, let's scroll down and open the next toggle of this level, selecting our own templates. Now let's learn to choose our own custom templates. And this is a task gallery to help us. And it's empty because I've hidden other tasks to make this easy again. So we click this walkthrough to learn what to do. And all we need to do is follow these instructions. We're going to click plus new, and we're going to scroll down and select the intelligence task template and set the status to achieved and date to today. I've already set the name for you when you click this, so it will automatically set the name of this task that you're achieving in your real database. So let's go. I'm going to click this. It's going to open this pop-up window that's called Create Custom Templates. I'm going to scroll down and choose this intelligence task template. Click that, and it's already going to automatically load it. We already know how to exit this pop-up, so I'm going to do that by pressing escape or clicking away or pressing back on my browser, one of those options. And now I want to set the status to achieved and the date to today. So I click on the status option, I find achieved, I click on that, and now I can set the date to, pressing the pencil icon, click add task date, click today's date, and that's all sorted. We know how to add our own tasks to our database in such a quick time. Okay, so let's scroll down, and now we know we are ready for the intermediate tutorials. And if you made here, it means you're doing well, and I'm really proud of you. All right, in the next tutorial, we're going to learn about the core databases that make up life game design. So we're going to open this to learn more. And in the task section, what I want you to do is add this module as a task and complete it by yourself. So first, I want you to take this, pages and databases, and put it into achieved here. And you can also, I'm going to press Control Z to undo that. You can also do it by clicking this status option here and clicking that to achieved. So once that's done, you can see this progress bar has gone up because this is our project of the LGD Notion course. And we can also see all of the tasks attached to it. And we've only got one more because there's only one more section to this. All right, we're going to click this button here to complete tutorial 2. And that's it. It's another one down. We've skyrocketed our Notion confidence just by playing this tutorial. So let's choose what to do next. We've come a long way since the start and we have a much better view of how Notion works. So either you can start tutorial 3 or you can take a break. But if you're ready, if you're pumped, we are going to learn about all areas, projects, tasks, and notes. And if you think it's scary, I got you step by step. I'm going to guide you through the whole way. So I will see you in the next tutorial video.